how's it going, everyone? This is City Wrestling Radio, December 5th, 2022. I'm your host, Korey Smith, being joined, as always, by my co-host, the dad you wish you all had, City Wrestling Radio's own Big Bad Booty Daddy, my main roster mate and yours, Mr. Jose Ocegueda.
Hey, don't catch me in a corner.
Don't worry what I got going over here.
Yeah. How's everybody doing? How are you doing, Mr. Smith?
You mean a la Scott Steiner Super Brawl 2000? I want to say.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
I think so, yeah.
It's one of our newer retro reviews.
Oh, check the link out right here. Yeah, how are you today, sir? Great?
Pretty good, pretty good. You know how the weekend is. A little bit of everything, a little bit of nothing, which is always great. It's great not to have a pay-per-view or a special 4 hours set aside to watch wrestling, right? But yeah, things are going.
I always love every single week. I hate how people probably listen to us say that too, and they're probably like, "What, you're complaining about wrestling? You do wrestling, at the same time."
About 5 hours of wrestling.
Weeks in a row.
Yes.
Weeks in a row. You know what I mean? It's a lot of content.
A lot.
I'll put it like that. But we're not here to talk about Full Gear, Survivor Series, NXT. Well, we might talk a little NXT at some point. I don't know. Today here on City Wrestling Radio, we're going to talk about William Regal. He's out. He's gone from AEW. We have an update on Sasha Banks and what she's been working on and how crazy it's been. And how might The Rock wedge himself into the Wrestlemania main event. We're going to take a look at some possible scenarios floating around. But before we do, guys, if you like City Wrestling Radio, like, subscribe, share, because, it really helps out the show. Once we get better, you get better content. Wrestlers start recognizing us. They start texting us and like, I love your show, giving us the inside tip. We get better. Get in on the ground floor.
We could leave our real jobs and make this our real job.
Yeah, be some of the first to share and subscribe to City Wrestling. I mean, there are people that have been subscribed to us for 5 years. You know what I mean?
Floor.
Those are our ground floor investors, and we can't put them over. But we need more subscribing investors. So, guys, go ahead, subscribe, click that button down below, and like and notify because it lets you know when we put out new shows. Anyways, let's get into it. I don't want to talk about me all day. As fun as that really is.
Is it though?
Let's get into it. We kick things off tonight with William Regal. So it has
surprise.
Well, is it? I mean, it is and it isn't. It's been reported by PW Insider and later confirmed by our uncle Dave Meltzer that William Regal is apparently leaving All Elite Wrestling. This is a considered kind of strange situation because Regal signed with the company about 9 months ago and has been involved in not just one of the top storylines, but the top storyline in AEW. Now, the reason for his departure is still unknown. The story, according to AEW, at least floating around AEW backstage, is that William Regal had a short-term contract. William Regal signed with the company 9 months ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's weird. And his departure was impending. So, while folks at WWE are saying, in contrast to that William Regal had a certain opt-out clause in his AEW contract, allowing him to drop his contract if Triple H took over control of WWE. Now,
that's really weird.
This is everything about this is very weird. Mm-hmm. What do you think is going on here, Jose?
It pans out if they give him a 9-month contract, right? It started in March. All right, we'll give you to the end of the year.
Yeah.
Finish out the year. Let's see how you feel. If you like it, stay. If you don't, then you can go about your ways. It mathematically it makes sense.
Absolutely, yeah. I hear you. But I mean, I think it's a little weird because, we have all these different stories floating around. I don't understand why AEW would allow some sort of opt-out clause to return to a rival company. I don't see even low level. I don't even see the Burger King being like, hey, well, if your manager comes back at McDonald's, you can go back over there.
Right. There's no non-compete clause.
Exactly.
Right?
And to me, that doesn't make any sense. So the only thing that kind of makes sense is as people are saying in AEW that this was a short-term contract, but a 9-month contract, the way you put it, that does make sense. But at the other time, it just seems to me it's like, that being said, wouldn't they have just like cooled William Regal off the last couple of weeks if this was coming, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, they looked like there was an attempt to write him off TV a little bit, right? When MJF turned and knocked him out.
Well, no, that was absolutely his write-off. But, you know, if in my opinion, it's like, why don't you go the other route? Why don't you just take him off TV? You know, why insert him into this main event storyline when you know his contract might be up in a few weeks, you know?
Yeah, there might be a specific clause in the contract where he can't show up on TV for WWE. As far as I know, what I've read is that he's taken a backstage role with the company, meaning off TV, to be determined. We don't know, but it sounds like it is, right?
Just come out every once a year to yell War Games.
Yeah, exactly. That doesn't have to happen for another year.
But do you think this could be detrimental to AEW in some respects? Because you're talking about a backstage role in NXT. NXT is their developmental brand. What did William Regal do for the last 9 months in AEW?
Not much of anything, right? Just
I mean, backstage. He made contacts. He met people. He scouted people. He knows how AEW is now developing their young talent.
Dude, that's a very good point. Yeah.
And
he became an insider. Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, I think it is very conspiracy theory, you know, to sit here and say things like, well, I think WWE sent in some people to go spot AEW. But at the same time, like there's got to be under the table discussions, you know, backroom talks, things that we don't know about that are literally like that. Hey, you know, hey Regal, what'd you hear over there? You know?
Yeah. How are the Young Bucks feeling?
Yeah, exactly. You know, what are they doing? How's that Wheeler Yuta? You want to get him over to NXT? So, and another question I have is, do you think, okay, people, I know this is just me, but people in the wrestling toy community are now just assured that the William Regal AEW figure is going to be no more because we had no mock-up specs for it. Unlike the Cody Rhodes Supreme figure. Right. Do you think they're going to continue with that figure, or what do you think?
Probably not. It's probably a waste of money now, right?
Yeah, but you know, they've announced him in the line, in the Series 10, I believe, line, but they haven't shown up any mock-up drafts yet. So
it's very easy for them to, you know, forget about that happening.
Switch it to another. Just put another head on a Kenny Omega head. Oh, Don Callis.
There you go.
There we go. We get our first Don Callis figure.
It'll be a little bit, you know, not shape accurate, should we say?
Well, I mean, yeah, Don Callis is probably
slender,
a little slender than William Regal.
Maybe a little bit taller, maybe.
He definitely goes on more walks, you know, than William Regal.
Also,
he's
I have
moving
a question
along.
for you.
Yeah.
Is this detrimental to WWE where they're restacking everybody that got fired? Do you have to take it back, everybody that they fired?
I don't think. Okay, so is it detrimental to WWE? They are.
It's a little bit of the AEW-itis, right?
Well, it's exactly what they were doing a few years ago. Sign everybody. You know what I mean? We have, you know, people speculated to return. Chelsea Green. You know, who else? William Regal. And others. You know, just off the top of my head, those two. Yeah. And it is going to hurt when if they keep signing people and they don't know what to do, because you have people like, where's Sasha Banks? What's she doing? Where's Charlotte Flair? You know, how does the current roster? How does Xia Li fit into this? How does Aaliyah? How does Bianca Belair? Raquel Rodriguez, right? It is now.
Sure,
yeah. How do they all fit into that? You know,
budget wise, how do you fit everybody?
Well, I mean, WWE, everyone has a limited roster or a limited financial cap. Yeah, limited budget. But They got Saudi blood money.
You're not wrong about that.
Like they have the Saudi money. They have the guaranteed money from Peacock. I don't see them at any point saying, we've spent too much.
Yeah,
they know
like
what
Mexico's
they're doing.
ready to slap them with some more bucks too.
Mexico?
Yeah,
What do you mean?
they're looking to expand in Mexico.
Well, I heard WWE is
NXT Mexico, I think.
they're going back to their whole their globalization of local WWE territories. So, like, they want to do an NXT Japan. They want to do an NXT Africa. I mean, I don't know if Africa was exactly one they named, but
for
Europe, Asia, Mexico, and it would be fun. But at the same time, it's like, did you watch NXT UK?
No, not at all.
I tried. Like
I barely watch NXT now.
I got into it for a second, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of cool." But then it was just like, "Okay, that's just another hour to watch every week." Oh, now we have takeovers. Okay, so I think if they worked it out to where these NXT brands would somehow come together 4 times a year to do maybe takeovers, NXT takeover Philadelphia, and then you have a match. Oh, these 2 guys from NXT Mexico are having a match. What's going on there? And you build it up 4 weeks on NXT TV. And the goal is to get on NXT. I think it's cool, but at the same time, this is something they've tried since, like, I believe the late 90s, and it has never ever really worked, because it's just wrestling is different all around the world. New Japan there's a reason why New Japan is successful in Japan. There's a reason why AAA and CMLL are successful in Mexico, and WWE is more successful here in the States, is because
they understand the particular market. Yeah,
exactly. Whether or not and so I don't know if WWE is ready to move to these territories,
or move on from the territory.
exactly. But one person I know is ready to move on. It's our good old friend Phil Brooks, formerly known, or not formerly known, I'm just kidding, also known as one CM Punk, because as Dave Meltzer talked to CM Punk's current AEW status in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, he said, quote, "Punk, as of this weekend, was still under contract to AEW and being paid, and those close to him say the holdup on being released is all on AEW side, and he's ready and willing to move on to his next project." Now, it is not known what this project can be or will be, but in the last month, people close to Punk have mentioned that Punk has recently re-caught the wrestling bug in the last year, wrestling in AEW again. And despite of rumors of him leaving the company, according to Sportskeeda, he's still scheduled to be in the upcoming AEW video game Fight Forever, after rumors circulated he was being taken out after being taken off the cover. You saw the new cover, Jose?
I have not.
It's a rethemed cover. Pretty much everyone on it that was on it before, except they added Hangman Page, changed the graphics up a little bit, and took out CM Punk from the middle. Now I believe it's Kenny Omega in the middle, which I think is a better option.
To me, it was your only option to begin with.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, Jose, the fact that Punk hasn't been fired from the company at this point, and the Elite have been openly mocking Punk when facing the Death Triangle, what are your thoughts on this whole situation with AEW and CM Punk at this point?
It's coming across very WWE-ish, right? Whereas they just make you sit at home. They pay you to stay at home, and they pay you to keep you from going anywhere else. He could easily join New Japan next week. Yeah. Smart, business-wise. Not very Tony Khan-ish, I want to say. He's more of a, we saw what happened with William Regal. He was willing to let him go like that. But this could be an FU.
Well, to me, it just... it could be. It absolutely could be. It could be Tony Khan saying, F you, Punk, just to the highest degree in every way. You're sitting at home, you're waiting out your contract, and we're going to openly mock you on TV,
And he'll sell more copies of the video game.
Oh, absolutely. But at the same time, to me, like, I don't want to be this person and be like, it's a fucking work, because like there's a lot of it does, but I don't know. I feel like a work is being made out of this. Like the fact that he just hasn't been let go to me, and they're continuing to like push the boundaries of the elite Punk kind of storyline.
Right.
To me, I'm like, what's going on here? There's something going on here that just does not seem 100% truthful to me, and I'm calling bullshit.
Yeah, okay. Well,
I think something's going on here, and there's a smidgen. Maybe this was something that was really fucked up, and it fucked everything up. But maybe at this point, I think they're giving CM Punk a cool-off period.
Okay.
I think they're letting him like, dude, listen, we can make money off this, but you need to go home and you need to reevaluate your shit. You need to go home and you need to cool off, because we can't have this in our locker room. So if you want to be a part of this company, cool off, come back in 6 months, we'll talk. You know what I mean?
In a perfect world, you are pushing an idealist idea, right? This is what we want. We want Tony Khan to be that guy. Hopefully he is that guy, and he, put CM Punk on timeout.
Because to me, the whole FU thing, it shows this giant ego. You know what I mean? Like, I understand like that, and that's one thing about Vince McMahon, that why he was such a great businessman in wrestling is because he was always willing to put, I think, personal issues on the side to make if it was going to make money.
Yeah. Totally.
If Khan is keeping CM Punk at home and just paying him, that is like something that's like, okay, your ego seems a little inflated now, and you are fucking pissed off over what happened, and you're not letting it go.
Okay.
And that's what it says to me.
Yeah, and this also screams making a shoot into a work, right? And make that incident pay you back tenfold.
No, absolutely, and that's kind of what I think is going on there. But it remains to be seen what happens with CM Punk. And the release date of the video game isn't confirmed still at this point.
Yeah, no, I think they said somewhere around February.
Well, is it February? I thought Amazon was advertising it as the 31st, which I think is a very weird release date of December.
December 31st?
Yeah, but I think
let's keep all the nerds at home. What?
I think it's that was just kind of like the last date of the year, and then maybe they can't put a pre-sale on if it's for next year. I don't know.
Yeah, I looked it up last week, and it said February.
Okay. All right. Well, keep an eye out here for City Wrestling Radio, because hopefully we'll get our Twitch channel up by then, and we'll start doing some live streams, because that would be fun. Yeah. Because I'm not ready to give up on this podcast thing, Jose.
No.
And I don't think a lot of people are ready to give up. But one person who I think is, one person who is hanging up his boots in 2023. No. It's the natural, Dustin Rhodes. In a recent, Rhodes spoke to a crowd at Saturday's Blizzard Brawl event for Great Lakes Championship Wrestling.
I'm sure it was freezing out there too.
So it was an indoor event, but sure, very, very cold. Although I thought I would have a clip for you, but I don't. He did talk to the crowd, kind of stating that 2023 would be his last year in pro wrestling, and last year wrestling, or not in pro wrestling, but wrestling in the ring. Jose, what are your thoughts and just of the career of Dustin Rhodes? Like, what are your highlights and your memories of his career?
Early on, the guy came off very bland, but that was in a time when everybody was bland anyway. Being this weird character would have been out of character for WCW at the time. He took up the mantle of his daddy and tried to be the same type of character back then, right?
But it was almost like this, like he was trying to force this. I thought young Dustin Rhodes always was trying to force this like coolness. He never actually had like that thing that, Dusty just had that, like he connected with the people. Whereas young Dustin, I never felt like as a kid watching him, I was just kind of like, okay.
Yeah. Him and Kendall Windham.
Yes, exactly.
They made a tag team. I forgot what they were called, but they're very bland because they both look like each other. I mean, I don't want to say look like each other is a bad thing because you have Rock and Roll Express, you have Demolition, you have all these guys that are very similar but are different in a certain way. These guys were like made out of the same mold.
Yeah.
That being said, once Vince McMahon got a hold of this guy and created the great Goldust. At first, not my favorite type of character.
We put your dad in polka dots. Let's put you in some gold paint.
But as soon as this guy got electrocuted, gold.
No pun intended. But honestly, like when he got electrocuted and he started doing the stuttering gimmick with Booker T, it was pure comedy. You know what I mean? But it was great, and I loved it. Yeah, Goldust in the mid '90s was probably the height of his career, having that Intercontinental title run. Having the gold Intercontinental title at one point, the gold strap title. I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah.
Some of the low lives, the low levels of his career. I don't know. That's the word for it. But we have to look at those two. 7 in
ouch.
In WCW, and then
really bad.
Which was only for a few nights, and
Thank God.
was pulled. And you know why that was pulled?
Some child.
So, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so
I'm like hanging on the edge of my seat.
Yeah. So the I guess the people someone at the network thought he gave off vibes of a child abductor.
He was like staring through a window.
There was a point where he was staring at a window through a kid. Yes, that was creepy. Yeah, and then the artist formerly known as Goldust, which, wow, that's like when it's like when you played Return of the Jedi on the NES, but then Super Nintendo, at Super Return of the Jedi.
yeah.
Like that, he should have just been named Super Goldust because that's pretty much what it was. It was just Goldust turned up to 1,000. You know what I mean? But I love the Goldust character. Even today, I thought I found a loose Goldust figure at this toy store in Alameda that I go to. But even though I did find it, it wasn't the current, like the Elite figures. It was one of those old Jakks figures, and I was like,
Yeah, I want to give all the props to Dustin because not many people would have made that work.
Goldust?
Only Dustin made it work
in the mid '90s.
Yeah.
And it never was.
It was a crappy idea, but he made it gold.
Yeah, it was androgyny of the character. It wasn't a gay character. You know what I mean? He towed the line between towed the line of sexuality to let everyone know, kind of like it's not a gay or straight character. Because was it what was it? Terry Reynolds? He was married to Terry.
Yeah, and she was like just a bombshell.
Whew.
God. I want to say, with the exception of ECW, most of the valets weren't bombshell. They were, hot, gowns. She came out like the most expensive.
I will say I had a very big crush on Terry Reynolds when I was a child.
For two particular reasons as kids. Yes.
I will put it like that. Anyways, let's move on. Because
and his AEW stuff was great.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Dustin. Hopefully you have a really good what do they call it when they
post-career,
do their last trot around the track?
Their farewell tour.
Sure.
Muda's having his this year, so next year it's Dustin. I wonder if every year we're going to get a retirement tour. You know what I mean?
I would love that.
And I do think if he is retiring and he's just legit like, I'm not wrestling again, you know what I mean? Because who knows? Ric Flair's fucking comes back every week. They should allow WWE should plan something, and I think they should bring back Goldust for a night. And I know that is totally unheard of for an AEW person to show up on WWE, but fuck, man, that would be so cool to just see for one more night. And then Cody's over there too, so you could have the Rhodes brothers. You could have Goldust and Cody, and Cody would probably even be, fun to do it. And then possibly, I don't know if you would do this, come out of Stardust and Goldust. One last time, man.
Rumble 2024.
Because that would be fucking crazy.
So a year, his last year of wrestling, right?
Yeah.
You
2023.
You could make an argument that Rumble 2024 would be his last hurrah.
Yeah, no, that would be good. You're right. After his but I know the Rumble as his last match though. Like, it would be cool for him to show up as Goldust, but if he goes in as Goldust in the Rumble, he has to be in the Final Four. There's no doubt about it. Like, they have to put him in the Final Four. Like, oh my God, is Goldust of all people gonna go to face
and have Cody be the one to throw him over the top?
Oh, heat. Anyways, let's move on because for the past I would say few months now, Sasha Banks has been teasing something, well, crazy. But she has finally revealed this week that she has just wrapped up the filming of her first movie in Boston.
We were right.
So Sasha was also recently spotted at a Celtics Heat game in the what do they call that area? I don't want to say tri-state area because that's not right. In the Boston area. There we go. It's fucking Boston. That's what it is. But despite the new project not being known if it's a WWE-led project or if it's a completely independent project or if she'll even work with the company, Jose, what do you think is going on with Sasha and WWE? Because to me, it just seems like, again, this is kind of like what I think is going on with AEW and CM Punk. I think they were like, yo, cool off, go do whatever you want to do. If you want to go make a movie, go make a movie. If you want to do that, whatever. But we want you back. We want to give you the time. We want to give you the freedom to do these projects. But yeah, what do you think's going on here?
Yeah, it might have been a catalyst when the walkout happened, that she already had these offers coming at her, and she was just like, I don't need this shit. I'm out. I'm going to go do a movie. I don't need this Vince crap. We don't have to rehash it exactly what happened, but she bailed.
It was
and
Vince,
movies take what? Few months to do?
Few months, yeah, depending on the movie, I guess.
Yeah, depending on her role, right?
Yeah.
So this could have been one of her fallback options, and she fell back on it, and now she's out and promoting.
And it's not saying, she didn't say it was like a major motion picture or anything like that. She just said she wrapped up her first movie. So
and she has ties with Disney.
She does, absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. But I wonder what kind of role this could be for her. If this, I don't think this is going to be a leading role. I think she's probably playing a supporting role in a movie, kind of easing her way into the film game, because WWE has very few women that have went into the movie scene or into Hollywood after WWE. You see a lot of guys like The Rock, of course, is the number one person that comes to mind. John Cena, who have had success in Hollywood, but very few women have left WWE to go have success in Hollywood.
I know they tried, but...
And it would be nice to see Sasha Banks get some success in Hollywood. She
already has a resume.
She does, what was her name? Something Reeves. Kona Reeves, right? No, that's Kova Reeves. I can't remember her name in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, we would have to look it up.
Mandalorian, all these Disney projects.
Oh, there's so much to watch. I still got to finish Andor. Jeez.
Speaking of which, what's that? Okay, what is up with this Willow show? What is this? Have you heard of it?
It's the Ewok did a movie called Willow, and it was I've never seen it, but it was big in the 80s. I want to say.
Oh, it's an old movie.
Yeah, and they recasted the guy, and now he's.
Oh, but it's a TV show now or something, right?
I think so, for Disney Plus. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I might check that out though. One thing.
Just remember, he's Wicked the Ewok.
Yeah. All right. One thing I know I will be watching: Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm with you.
Volume 3, baby. Because the trailer was just released earlier this week, and this is expected to be Dave Bautista's last time portraying Drax the Destroyer in the MCU.
And James Gunn's last venture into Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, no, it's crazy to think what's going to happen after this. It was said that the filming became quite emotional when both James Gunn's last film and Bautista's last time playing Drax. Dave Bautista went on social media to post a few months ago. He said he said, quote, "Haven't found the words yet. It ended so suddenly, and I was on my next film before I could process it all. End of a journey that changed my life." Now, Jose,
Yes.
What you like comic books, right?
Love those things.
Okay. They have action, they have comedy, romance, it's all there.
Drama.
But
Yeah.
what do you know about Drax the Destroyer? I know, and you're not giving spoilers away because you don't know what the movie's about. But does he die? Does he? What is the plan? What was the plan in the MCU? Is he still alive?
As far as I know, everything's hunky dory.
So you're like comic book Drax. He's fine. He's all
He's
good.
good. Yeah. No, I haven't really kept track with Drax. The Guardians of the Galaxy are not the actual group that originally were the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
In the Marvel
It
comics,
has
right?
changed over the years, and
It has, yeah. And
And
most
it-
recently, because of the movie,
yeah.
they changed the books that way. But Drax has always been a main fixture, what I remember.
Okay.
I don't know where he's going. I don't know where it ends. And that's only good news because I'll get to enjoy the movie as a fresh pair of eyes.
Yeah. In my opinion, too, I'm hoping that Drax doesn't get killed off. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm hoping for that. I'm hoping it's just something where he's like, I gotta go do my thing. Ha ha ha. Make joke here about, not understanding human, observations. you know? But yeah, it also, to me, I wonder if he will just get recasted in the long run. If it's something to where, they like, oh, something happened and now he's decreased in age kind of by, 20 years. He fell into the lake.
They go Groot route again.
Yeah. By the way, have you seen the picture of Groot now?
I saw the trailer and he
He's-
looks weird.
He's like buff Groot.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I'm like, it's like when a 20-year-old starts just like lifting weights and they get buff. I'm like,
That's about right? Because he was teenage Groot last movie.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so, it remains to be seen what happens, what's next for Dave Bautista. But, I'll keep a lookout for him in his next projects because, he is definitely someone that's had success in Hollywood. Like Sasha Banks is trying to kind of recreate, or not recreate, but she's trying to kindle her own flame into the Hollywood.
Right.
Also, as we mentioned before, The Rock, who has had a fucking ton of success in Hollywood.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
So, rumors have been circulating that The Rock might return to WrestleMania. That's known by everyone.
It was even teased on the show. A young Rock.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. So there we have a young Joe climbing all over Rock. Maybe one day me and you could wrestle at WrestleMania, right? He was like, yeah, kid, get away from me.
Oh, that's right. And also, I believe somebody pointed out on a recent, there was an episode or something, and there were some titles above, and then the Universal title was there or something.
I didn't see
the
that,
blue
yeah.
Universal title.
Uh-huh.
And someone was like, wait. And I think that's supposed to be like in the future. Like,
Yeah, this
because
is the future.
it was like it was his presidential run or whatever in the show.
And he lost, yeah. Oh, spoilers, everybody.
I mean, I assume so. Rock's not president in this new season.
Yeah.
But like I said, rumors have been circulating about his return to WrestleMania and how it could be through the Royal Rumble. Now, it's still extremely unclear if The Rock will even return to WWE for a match. Many ponder how the Great One can return, and what wrestling fans would we be if we didn't fantasy book the shit out of this. So, Jose, I need you to get detailed just a little bit. WrestleMania, or at least right now to WrestleMania, how does The Rock get there?
He has to be surprise entrance at the Rumble, right? You can't announce it beforehand. You ruin everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can, and it's been done before. I'm entering the Rumble because I'm going to put you in your place. I am the tribal chief. You're not. Or no one's the tribal chief anymore. You're talking about days of old. I'm the future, and you are mocking our history, what have you.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So you can go either way. I'm sure behind the scenes, Rock was like, I'm not going to come in unless you guys are in my backyard. And where does Rock live nowadays?
Oh, I think it's Hollywood.
Oh, what?
What? Yeah. No, to me, it's just, I wouldn't put The Rock in the Rumble. Because if you put The Rock in the Rumble, he has to win. He has to go straight to WrestleMania. And there's 2 nights of WrestleMania. The Rock's not winning the title unless he's planning a full comeback. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's planning a full comeback.
No.
In my opinion, I think it would be better served if The Rock comes back after the Rumble. Have Cody win the Rumble. Have him come in at number 29. I can come in, at Final 4, him and 3 other people, and then have him win. Him, come out on Raw. I'm going to WrestleMania. And then on SmackDown, all of a sudden, boom, here comes The Rock. He's down to confront Roman Reigns.
And we all know that it actually holds some weight there because SmackDown is The Rock's show.
It was named after The Rock's catchphrase.
Yeah.
And so I think if you have him come down, not challenge him, but, have him saying, kind of challenge for his tribal chief position and have him say, well, Rock, you didn't win the Rumble, so I have to face Cody. And then Rock says, well, there's 2 nights of the WrestleMania. I'm going to...
The true champion will be there both times.
Yeah, exactly. And he will take the longer route and win maybe Elimination Chamber. Have him go in there, have him come out as the 6th person out of the chamber, out of the last person. Because then you can build up some wins for The Rock. You can get some steam. You can actually get people thinking, fuck, dude, The Rock is like, he's kind of on a roll in WWE
He's been
again.
Consistently showing up, too.
Exactly. So then you have people thinking, could this really happen? Have him go night 1, and the winner of The Rock and Roman Reigns faces the winner of the Royal Rumble night 2. Mm-hmm. And then you have Cody versus Roman night 2. And that way, the Roman has been, been through hell night 1 just to defeat and defend his tribal chief position. And he is not weakened. He's not but he's beat up, He's it's not like he has a broken leg or anything, but he's down a little bit. And
he's worn the bandages on the waist like they do.
Exactly. Have him come down holding his ribs,
Mm-hmm.
And then have Cody go in and win those titles. Because
another route you could do, and you can actually split the titles this way, is have Rock win the Elimination Chamber. Mm-hmm. And now Roman has to defend 2 titles.
Yeah. But then who gets a shot at what title,
When it gets booked, The Rock doesn't need titles. The Rock already had all the titles. I don't want it. You can keep this Raw title, Universal title.
Yeah.
I want just a match.
I want the tribal chief position.
And Cody only has the rights to...
Cody's like, I want those fucking titles. Kidding.
Well, Cody will only have the right to the world title.
I mean, I see your point, but at the same time, I'm going to also say that wrestling fans around the world like, he only has rights to the WWE title. What? I thought you get to pick your title. And
Yeah.
I do like it though.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the idea of The Rock coming back, but just a little mini run.
Yeah, there's total flexibility there.
Yeah, and then you can kind of have him, as someone does in their last match, put somebody over. He puts his cousin?
Yeah.
He puts his cousin over as the ultimate tribal chief, the ultimate kind of world champion, at least for
and it's very customary. Yeah.
Exactly. So, in my opinion, I think that's the best way to do it. But to each their own, and everyone's going to have their own storyline and fantasy book heading in.
He's totally going to win, and he's going to be the champion for 700 days, and he's going to be around for the next 10 years. And
yeah, man,
that's not going to happen, guys. He's going to be around for just the season.
Yeah. Rock in and out, in between movies, before he goes and film his next. Because if he's filming a movie,
too. I mean,
Black Adam 2. I still haven't even seen Black Adam. Is that on? Is that on Peacock yet? Or
I'm waiting for it to be on whatever streaming service. I think it's going to be on HBO Max.
Fingers crossed. All right. Well, I think that about does it here for today, Jose. In
the books.
Yeah, I felt like today's show was just like Rock's upcoming possible stint in WWE.
Yeah.
In and out between,
one can only hope.
Between movies,
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we will be next. We'll be back next week. Wait. So, is NXT what's that NXT show coming up with the Ultimate Survivor Challenge?
Oh, yeah. The Iron Man, Last Standing Iron Man Survivor? No, the Surviving Iron Man? The Iron Survivor.
Whatever. Yeah, Iron Survivor match. I believe that's a little over a week from now, so we don't have to talk about it. Yay, great. All right. Well, we will see you next week. For City Wrestling Radio, I'm Korey Smith.
I'm Jose Ocegueda.
And like I said, we will see you next week here at YouTube. Don't forget to, or SoundCloud, or wherever you listen. And like I said before in the beginning of the show, if you're at this point, dude, you liked the show, okay? Don't sit there and try to convince yourself you didn't. You liked it. You laughed at that one joke that I made. It was kind of funny, but it was kind of corny, too. Totally get it. Just click that bell down below, the subscribe button. Help us out. Come on.
You can always ignore us.
Come on.
Swipe up.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. Take care. Have a great week. Bye.
Bye-bye.